The courtroom for the divorce proceedings was heavy with silence, the kind that presses on your chest. My wife Peyton walked in as if she owned the floor, her heels striking the tiles like the ticking of a clock. She didn't glance at me. Her smirk was perfectly rehearsed, her chin lifted high as though victory was already carved into the walls. "The prenup is ironclad," she announced, her voice slicing through the air. The judge paused, pen scratching against paper. Her lawyer leaned forward, smug, straightening his tie as if this were a mere formality. I didn't argue. I didn't lift my voice. I simply slid the agreement across the polished table, tapped a single paragraph, and leaned back. Her lawyer's eyes fell to the page. At first he blinked, then his lips parted soundless. A flush drained from his face, leaving only fear. He gripped Peyton's wrist, whispering harshly, "The house, the accounts, what did you do?" Her smirk faltered, a tiny crack in the armor she wore so well. She shot me a look sharp enough to wound, but I remained silent. That silence was heavier than any accusation. For the first time, the game she thought she controlled slipped from her grasp. I still remember the night it all began, the fundraiser at the old Whitmore Hall, chandeliers glowing like constellations. I was young, ambitious, still sweating through 12-hour days to keep my company alive. She swept in like a storm wrapped in silk, laughter trailing behind her. Every head turned. She noticed me, the man in a borrowed suit, clutching the glass of cheap wine. "You look lost," she teased, her eyes glittering. "Maybe I am," I admitted, half smiling. "But you look like you belong to another world." She laughed, and I was finished. In the weeks that followed, she became my oxygen. Dinners where she leaned close, whispering, "You're a visionary, Bradley. We'll build something incredible." Her belief felt real, intoxicating. I mistook admiration for love, promises for loyalty. As my company grew, so did her appetite for the shine, designer dresses, exotic trips, friends whose names I never learned. I told myself it was balance. I carried the weight, she carried the glow. But even then, looking back, I see the truth. The fundraiser wasn't fate. It was the opening move of a game I didn't yet know I was playing. The unraveling didn't come with explosions. It came in whispers, shadows, and silences. At first, it was the late dinners. "Clients?" Peyton explained curtly, slipping into bed past midnight, her phone clutched like a lifeline. Soon, texts began arriving that flipped face down the second I entered the room. One night, I borrowed her car. The passenger seat carried a perfume that wasn't hers, spiced, musky, unmistakably male. When I asked, her smile was quick, brittle. "Don't be paranoid, Bradley. It's just air freshener." But cracks never stay hidden. Then came the night that killed my illusions. I woke to the sound of her voice through the bathroom door, low and playful, dripping with disdain. "Once it's done, the house is mine. He won't see it coming. He's too soft." I froze, every word searing itself into me. She thought I was asleep. She thought I was blind. When she returned to bed, she brushed my hair back tenderly, whispering, "Sleep well." I kept my eyes closed, but inside something hardened. That night, I wasn't her husband anymore. I was a man waiting, listening, sharpening, and the game had finally begun. Peyton believed the prenup was her fortress. She insisted on it before the wedding, her tone honeyed. "It's just security for both of us, Bradley. Nothing more." I nodded, hiding the storm inside. She thought it was her shield, her escape hatch if love soured. But what she never saw, what she never bothered to read, was the single paragraph I buried earlier. During the endless exchange of drafts between lawyers, I had slipped it in, disguised in dense legal jargon. Any property or accounts hidden, transferred, or claimed through deceit would revert entirely to me. I remember my attorney frowning. "Bradley, this clause, it's brutal." "So is betrayal," I answered quietly. From that moment, I waited, and she gave me everything I needed, shifting property titles, opening accounts in her sister's name, thinking herself clever. Every deception only tightened the snare. At night, she would pour wine, smiling sweetly, asking about business. I would smile back, filing away her every careless move. She believed she was untouchable. What she didn't know was that her fortress had already crumbled before the first stone was laid. And when the day came, it wouldn't be me walking into her trap. It would be her stepping straight into mine. Now let's return to the courtroom, where my wife remained standing in a state of shock. When the judge called for the documents, I stayed silent, sliding the prenup across. My finger tapped the buried clause. Her lawyer's eyes scanned, then froze. His throat bobbed. Leaning close, he hissed, "The house, the accounts, what did you do?" Color drained from her face. "Fix it," she snapped under her breath. "I can't," he whispered. "It's airtight." The judge read aloud, and every hidden account, every shifted deed, was dragged into the light. The fortress she thought unbreakable had become her prison. The ruling was swift. The house reverted to me, the accounts restored, the fraudulent transfers noted in record. Peyton staggered to her feet, eyes wide, mask shattered. No smirk, no crown, only silence. I watched her leave, not with triumph, but with a calm that felt like freedom. Betrayal had burned me blind once, but clarity came sharper than fire. Love had ended, yes, but her downfall wrote the ending, and it was my silence, not my voice, that carved it in stone.